So today we're taking a look at my Matoya deck. I wanted to try something a little bit different with mono blue, and this deck ended up being a lot stronger than I had intended it to be. Basically, we just turned scry and surveil into card draw. We really focus on scry and using that extra card draw to get extra effects from our other cards within the deck. So it's very straightforward. The nice thing with Matoya is that this effect is there's no restrictions on it, so there's no like only once per turn. As many times as you scry, you are drawing that many cards. So if we take a look at our game plan, we really just want to control the top of our deck, turning our multiple scry effects into card draw and using that value to pull ahead onto the table. So we'll take a look at cards like Sigiled Starfish. It's a 0/3. You tap to scry 1. So with Matoya on the board, you're scrying 1, then you're drawing 1. We're taking a look at Thassa, God of Sea. So it's a free scry every upkeep, and then you can pay 2 to get an unblockable creature. We have other things such as Elrond, Lord of Rivendell. So whenever he or another creature enters the battlefield under my control, we scry 1. If this is the second time this ability has resolved this turn, the ring tempts you. So every time we're scrying, we're drawing cards. This goes into a couple of our heavy hitters, into our engines, to where I wanted to build when my opponents are drawing cards, I draw more cards as well. So we have Consecrated Sphinx. So whenever an opponent draws a card, you may draw 2 cards. I have Rhystic Study in here. Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you may draw a card unless that player plays 1. And Teferi's Ageless Insight. A lot of people don't like this card. I like it. If you would draw a card except the first one you draw on each of your draw steps, draw 2 cards instead. So what are we doing with all this card draw? What happens here? So if you notice, we have a couple of token generators. So we have Homunculus Horde. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a token that's a copy of this creature. So that just builds exponentially each turn. We have Mischievous Mystic. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 blue fairy creature token with flying. This adds a flyer to our board and adds a flying blocker. I use these more as defensive versus offensive. We'll get to the win cons here in a minute. We have Alandra, Sky Dreamer. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 2/2 blue Drake creature token with flying. Whenever you draw your fifth card each turn, Alandra, Sky Dreamer, and Drakes you control get +X until end of the turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. This can get really scary really fast in this deck. Then we have things like Thopter Fabricator. Whenever you draw your second card each turn, create a 1/1 colorless Thopter artifact creature token with flying. And then we also look at Ominous Seas, which whenever you draw a card, put a 4 shadow counter on Ominous Seas, remove 8 4 shadow counters from Ominous Seas, create an 8/8 blue Kraken creature token. Now, if this gets online early enough, and you get your board state going, I've had games where I'm building a Kraken a turn. So an 8/8 a turn, which is absolutely insane. Then we also have Hermes, Overseers of Elpsis. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, create a 1/1 blue bird creature token with flying and vigilance. Whenever you attack with one or more birds, you scry 2. So great, that just adds more card draw. Now I take a look at some of the defensive tools we have in this deck. I really did not want to make this like a control blue or counter spell blue deck. I just wanted to focus, kind of go all in on the card draw, so we don't really have too much as far as like counter spells. It's kind of a nice blue deck. But a couple things that I put in here are freeze in place. So you tap target creature an opponent controls, put 3 stun counters on it, scry 2. Impede momentum, tap target creature and put 3 stun counters on it, scry 1. So we're getting value by tapping the opponent's creatures, which is fantastic. We also have, I did include one counter spell, um, and then we also have Retreat to Coral Helm. So it's a landfall. Whenever land you control enters, choose one. So you can tap or untap target creature or scry one. So you can kind of use this both to get more card draw or to tap a creature that, needs to get tapped or untapped. Um, as far as ramp goes, we don't really have too much. It's blue. But our spells aren't very expensive. If we take a look at our mana curve, it's pretty okay. Um, you just have your Soul Ring, your Arcane Signet. We do have a Sapphire Medallion in here just to make our blue spells cost one less. I also did throw in a Mackerel's Messenger. This is actually a pretty cool card. So whenever you draw your second card each turn, you create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature with sacrifice this creature and add colorless. So it's 2/1 and you're getting a ramp for card draw. So it's actually not too bad. Um, and then let's see. So how does this play? How do we play out the deck? Early game, we're setting up our mana and light scry value. By turn 3, turn 4, we want Matoya to hit the board. Um, and we just start building value with everything in our deck. We're scrying, we're drawing cards, we're generating tokens. The whole point of this deck is to out-resource the table. And then that gets to some of our win cons here. So I have Jace, Wielder of Mysteries. If you draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you'd win the game. We also have Laboratory Maniac, same thing. If you draw a card while your library has no cards in it, you win the game. We also do have a couple cards in here, like 20-Toed Toad. If you have 20 more cards in your hand, you win the game. Also, we have Just Get to Foul. At the beginning of your upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game as well. I haven't won with this, but it's a win con. We also did throw in a Psychosis Crawler just for some burn. So whenever you draw a card, each opponent loses 1 life. This can get out of hand pretty quickly. There's a couple of combo pieces that work out really well. So if you're playing with a full pod and you have Consecrated Sphinx on the board, and you put down Windfall. I actually did this the other day and I had 14 cards in my hand. I ended up drawing like over 70 cards and winning the game because I was able to throw down Laboratory Maniac. Consecrated Sphinx was on the board, and then I threw down Windfall. So basically Windfall says each player discards their hand and draws cards equal to the greatest number of cards the player discarded this way. So I had 14 cards in my hand. So everybody drew 14 cards, but then with Consecrated Sphinx onto the battlefield, I got double the cards that my opponents drew, so I got 28 for each, plus the 14 I got, and I was able to draw out my whole deck. I was able to do that in turn 6, so the deck is not very slow. I would say it's very consistent. Luckily, nobody had a response to that, so that was able to close out the game. But there's other ways to win, even without doing that. But yeah, this deck does not win because it's explosive. It wins because it's consistent. You always have options. You always hit your draws, and you don't run out of gas. If anybody wants to try this deck before committing to buying the cards, I actually print full commander deck, sleeved and ready to play. So if you want to test this exact list, check the links in the description and I'll build it for you. I am thinking about upgrading this list next. I'm thinking we have a couple options. We could go combo, control, or just keep it at the balanced bracket 3 that it is. Let me know what you would do. Talk to y'all later.